Hello and welcome back to Drippy Drez. Today I am going to be talking about emotional vulnerability. So, what does it mean to be vulnerable? Well, the term vulnerable means being susceptible to attack or harm. So, obviously, emotional vulnerability would be how somebody gets hurt. And a common misconception is that it's okay if certain things hurt you, but not if other things do. And it's this mindset that leads people to worrying about others and not taking care of themselves. And a better mindset would be that it's okay to get hurt, it's okay to let things bother you, but it's not okay to go about things in a certain way. And I know that most movies don't line up with this mindset, and I could sit here and argue that movies are the things that have made people worse, but I don't believe in that. I certainly believe that people have used movies as an excuse to go about things a certain way. But I would never sit here and blame, movies for ruining our society, because people should be able to watch movies and not let them ruin their life, regardless of how good or how bad it was, or how disappointed or how upset it made them because it was bad. And that is why, I actually thought about doing an audio where I talked about movies in which people have used as an excuse to ruin our lives, but I've realized how unnecessary that is, because I think upon hearing this, each person should be able to think for themselves, which movies have they let ruin their lives. And, as much as I want to teach people, as much as I want my podcast to be an educational space, I also don't want this podcast to be a place where I reach out to strangers and think about things for them that, they should be thinking about themselves. No, instead, I just want to talk about educational topics, and I think mentioning that people have used movies as an excuse to ruin their lives is educational enough. And if you don't believe me, there is a movie called Scream, which is a ripoff of horror movies, and in it, there's a character that talks about how horror movies and just movies in general are making people more predictable. Hey, that this is, who the killer's gonna do next. Haven't you seen this movie? And nobody believes him. And then later on, the killer admits that he did get this from movies, but movies don't make psychos. They just make psychos more predictable. And I agree with that mindset 100%. Anyways, back to emotional vulnerability. So, yeah, now that I've mentioned how people have used movies as an excuse to be toxic, for those of you who recognize themselves in this situation, this is a good time to be vulnerable. This is a good time, to let yourself get hurt upon realizing that, or upon, being given a chance to admit it. And this is a good time for you to be like, hey, this is bad, it upset me, it hurt me, I can't believe I did something like that to myself, but at least I'm not the only one who can relate to this. I have people to talk about it with, but even if I didn't, so what? I should still be able to change. And I think that this could go for a lot of things. It's okay to get hurt, it's okay to be upset, it's okay to be angry, as long as you know how to get over it and go about things the right way. And I'm sure a lot of you are probably thinking, oh, as my sensitivity level is changing, you know, is, my personality about to change, blah, blah, blah. For those of you who don't know, there are articles that state that sensitive is no longer a term for how emotional you are. Being sensitive relates to being aware of your emotions and then being aware of other people's emotions. Being emotionally weak would be not going about things the right way. And although I haven't read an article that straight up said this, I'm pretty sure how emotional you are would be like how much you experience emotions. So yeah, you can be sensitive and emotional without being emotionally weak at all. You can be as sensitive and as emotional as you want without being weak in any way, shape, or form. Well, I hope that this audio has been deeply reflective, and I hope that you all enjoyed and that your life has somehow been changed for the better because of this. Thank you all for listening. Feel free to hit that like and subscribe button. If you haven't already, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. Tomorrow, I am releasing my first 2 rap songs for this channel, but before I do, I'm going to try to release an advertisement. I can't guarantee that I'm going to be able to release one for tomorrow's songs. I'm going to try my best. If not, for sure next weekend songs are going to get an advertisement beforehand. And regardless of whether or not the ad comes out tomorrow, I hope you all listen to my songs. If not, I will hopefully see you guys on Sunday if you guys choose to watch my video. And if not, if you're only listening to my podcast audios, then I will talk to you next week, Friday.